In the NFL, players often rise to prominence for their on-field heroics, but sometimes there are hidden gems, players whose potential is largely overshadowed by other facets of the game. One of the most intriguing names in this category right now? Xavier Worthy. Long before Xavier Worthy made waves as a top-tier wide receiver, the Kansas City Chiefs had big plans for him in a very specific role. Special teams coach Dave Toub, a seasoned veteran with a keen eye for untapped talent, had envisioned Worthy making a name for himself as one of the league's premier punt returners. It wasn't a stretch. After all, Worthy possesses the elusive speed, vision, and agility that are essential to turning a routine special teams play into something spectacular. The comparison to Tyreek Hill's early career is inevitable. When Hill entered the league in 2016, he was a jack of all trades. He didn't just light up the scoreboard as a wide receiver. He was a dynamic return specialist, contributing to the Chiefs' special teams with both punt and kickoff returns. Over his first 2 seasons, Hill continued to return punts while becoming the Chiefs' top wideout in 2017. That year, special teams coach Dave Toub fought for Hill to maintain his role as a punt returner, despite his growing responsibilities on offense. However, Tyreek Hill's days as a return man were ultimately numbered. By 2019, Hill had stopped returning kickoffs entirely, and his work on special teams was phased out. Still, Hill's versatility as a dynamic threat in the return game is the standard that Dave Toub has had in mind for players like Worthy. Fast forward to 2023, and Xavier Worthy seemed to be stepping into that same mold. Toub, no stranger to identifying explosive playmakers, had high hopes for the young wideout, seeing the potential for Worthy to be a dual threat, contributing both as a key receiver on offense and as a game-changing punt returner. But then, the season took a turn. Rashee Rice, a fellow wide receiver, went down with an ACL injury on September 29th, drastically shifting the Chiefs' offensive landscape. In the aftermath, the team had no choice but to elevate Worthy to a more prominent role on offense. He played a staggering 66% of the offensive snaps, becoming the team's number one receiver. But with his increased responsibilities, the plan for him as a punt returner had to be shelved. Yet, even with Worthy's rise as a primary offensive weapon, Dave Toub hasn't lost sight of the wide receiver's untapped potential as a special teams dynamo. Toub recently told Ed Easton of Chiefs Wire, "He'll be in the mix. If you remember, Worthy was going to be our guy. He was planned to be our guy until Rashee Rice's injury changed everything. Worthy ended up being our number one receiver, and we couldn't afford to risk him back there on returns. But make no mistake, I still believe he's the best punt returner nobody knows about in the league right now." Worthy's talent was evident last season as he evolved into a critical piece of the Chiefs' offense. But it's his ability to flip the field on special teams that could be the real game changer. Toub's comments on Worthy being the best punt returner nobody knows about ring with the promise of what could be a breakout year for the young wideout. After all, the NFL is no stranger to stars emerging out of nowhere, especially in the return game, where a single play can completely change the momentum of a game. With Toub's track record of developing explosive special teams talent, it's easy to see why Worthy could thrive in such a role. Of course, Worthy isn't the only name being floated for the Chiefs' punt return duties. Nico Remigio and Brashard Smith are also in the mix for that coveted role. Last season, Mecole Hardman returned 20 punts, and Remigio chipped in 11, with the duo averaging a combined 9.9 yards per return. But with all due respect to Hardman and Remigio, neither possesses the combination of size, speed, and field awareness that Worthy brings to the table. If Worthy does get the green light from Toub and the coaching staff, he could very well become one of the league's most dangerous return men. His ability to take a simple return and turn it into a massive gain could shift the balance of games, providing the Chiefs with another weapon to complement their already potent offense. For now, though, one thing is clear. Xavier Worthy is the NFL's best-kept secret, And if Dave Toub gets his way, the league is about to find out just how dangerous he can be in the return game. The Chiefs' special teams could soon be sporting a new weapon that nobody saw coming, but one that might make opposing teams rethink their entire game plan. The question now isn't whether Worthy has the talent, it's whether the Chiefs will give him the chance to prove just how good he can be. If Toub has anything to say about it, they just might.